Hi guys, I'm Alex from Baratza Support, and today we're unboxing the Baratza Encore. First things first, let's open up the box. So right at the top, we've got this helpful quick start guide. It includes a basic chart for assembly and some other instructions for getting your grinder up and running on the first time. This is a great resource to have and to hold on to, and it's going to cover a lot of what we talk about in this video. Alright, so we've got a bean hopper, and a lid for that hopper, so you might unbox your machine and see that your hopper and lid and bin look a little different. They might be sort of frosted or shaded in appearance. That's just fine. The materials are the same, they function identically, it's just a change in the color. You won't see any difference in your use. Now once you get these out, it's a good idea to hand wash these, as well as this removable grounds bin, in warm soapy water. That way we can get them nice and clean. Just be sure to air dry them completely before installing in your machine. Alright, so on the front of the machine we have a removable grounds bin. Chances are yours will have this white line. This is a fill line. You'll see as coffee kind of starts to pile up that it gets close to this line, and when it does, we advise you stop grinding. This is going to help you avoid clogs in the future. Now inside the bin we've got a stiff wire brush, which is great for cleaning. We've got a little silicone gasket, and we've got the on-off knob. Alright, first things first, let's install the knob. Now if you have the Virtuoso, your knob is going to be metal, but the process is the same. On the inside, the interface is keyed. It's kind of like a half moon shape. So just make sure that the flat side inside the knob lines up with the flat side of the shaft inside the grinder. Just press on to install, and we're good to go. Up top, we're going to have to install everything over here, but first, on the top of the grinder, you'll find a silica gel packet. Go ahead and discard that. We put that in there to help keep moisture away from the burr set. Our burrs are made of a high carbon steel, which is susceptible to some oxidation and rust. Now, if you see a little discoloration on your burrs right out of the box, don't worry, that's just fine. It can happen from time to time, but it's not going to affect your grind performance or flavor. And as you use the machine, you're going to find that coffee oils will get into that steel and season your burrs, so that rust isn't a problem going forward. Now before we get in here, we're going to want to first make sure that everything is lined up properly. So go ahead and remove the ring burr and set it aside, and have a look around. At the top of the cone burr will be a wing nut. If this part has come off on your grinder, that's just fine. Go ahead and take it and reinstall it onto the cone burr. Just be advised that it is reverse threaded, so you'll have to turn lefty-tighty. Then look for the adjustment ring, which is a black ring just outside of where the ring burr will go. If it's rotated out of position, you're going to have a hard time setting this machine up. So make sure, using those tabs, that the adjustment ring is all the way counterclockwise. Next up, you can install the ring burr. Make sure that the red painted tab lines up at about setting 30 or 5 o'clock as the grinder is facing you. You'll know it's incorrectly because you're not able to turn it very much. Next up, we have the silicone gasket. This one, you'll want to line up the notches with the red and white tab on the ring burr holder. It's not particularly difficult or particular, just kind of set it on there and it'll be good to go. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and install the hopper. Just be sure to line up the silver painted line on the hopper with the silver triangle on the body of the grinder. Press down and twist to engage. And now we're ready to set our grind adjustment. The Encore and the Virtuoso each have 40 steps of grind adjustment. From 40, which is coarsest, all the way down to 0, which is the finest. Your quick start guide will contain several recommended starting settings for various popular brew methods. But if you'd like to learn more, go to Baratza.com for lots of resources and information on how to fine-tune your grind. Alright, now that we have everything put together, it's time to use this grinder. With your machine plugged in, there are two ways to operate it. On the front is a pulse button that'll only run the grinder as long as you're pressing it. On the side, we have a toggle switch. As long as the machine is in the on position, it'll run. You'll notice there are 2 ons and 2 offs. That's just because the switch can rotate fully in either direction. There's no difference between each one. On the Virtuoso, this is a spring-loaded timer that'll just wind back after you release it. Once it's done, power is cut to the motor. All right, next thing's up, grinding coffee. We're going to recommend that you grind a few ounces of coffee through your machine first, just to clear things out and season it a little bit. I find that the hopper lid is a handy scoop. And there we go. So now you've got your Baratza Encore set up and ready to go. So happy grinding.